Hey guys, Amanda Palmieri here again, bringing you another review of a homeschool planner. This is the well-ordered homeschool planner. This is the 26-27 edition. And I bought this, it's actually June of 2026. I always buy my planners early, kind of like at the end of the previous school year, so that I have enough time to look through it, get used to it, and prepare for goals for the next year, because summer is usually when I do that. So let's take a peek. All right, so this is bigger. If you looked at my review on the well-ordered day planner, this one is more of like an 8x11, I believe, and the other one is like a 5x8 or 5x9. So it's a bit bigger, but I think it's appropriate for a homeschool planner. The spiral guide is still pretty big, good size, nice and durable and strong. I think it's actually a little smaller than the well-ordered day planner. Just an observation. It's about 1 inch thick. The back has a nice quote from Charlotte Mason. And let's crack it open. Okay. So just like the well-ordered day planner, there is a pocket folder. It's a good size. And nice introduction in the beginning, year at a glance. This goes through July to June of the following year. They have kind of like a table of contents, helpful tips for the different sections all throughout the planner, which is always nice. It kind of gives you, hey, if you're using this for the first time, maybe even you're using a homeschool planner for the first time, kind of gives you some ways on how you can do that well. So I really appreciate that. Next page, map out your vision. So it gives you really clear, I love how it gives some like words that you can use to describe the school year, what you're wanting. Pick your top 3 words and write them in the section below on ideas on how you can implement the vision that you have for your school year. And then some reflection questions down here. Space to dream, love that. It's a dot, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a dotted page here, so you can just map things out as you see fit. Attendance record, this is great. I love this because it really gives like a, hey, just a check mark, just check. That's great. I've seen it all different ways and I appreciate that way. Daily master schedule, what your average day, week will look like. It's always important to have. That's great. Curriculum plan. So this is great because it kind of maps out almost everything that you need to have: art, foreign language, geography, etc. And then it gives some ideas on the inside. So like foreign language, is it French? Is it Latin? And you can kind of just check it off. That's pretty nice. Then you can write actually the actual curriculum that you're using. Now this is important if you're doing an IHIP or reporting to school. You kind of map it out here and then you have it to give and as a resource to your school that you're reporting to. Yearly overview, so this goes through week 1. So if you do it this way, you can kind of just write out, this does just give one child, so that might be tricky if you have multiple children. Not sure if they give multiple, but I guess we'll see. But this is child's name, and then first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth. Learning semester goals, what do you want to learn? There's character, life, and education. I love how they separate these 3 because as we know in homeschool, learning is a lot more than just subjects of school. So I love that. And then first semester, second semester, and then on the next page, a loop schedule. This is awesome. This is totally the way I homeschool. Not everybody homeschools this way, but this is the way I do it. So it's a loop. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You kind of do it in a loop and then you repeat. And it kind of gives you your core and non-core things. List any resources you'll need for the subjects in your loop. And that would be like a morning reading basket, morning and then like afternoon schedule, things like that. Anything from memory work, science, language arts, music, kind of gives you that. Then to memorize. So we do memorization, whether it's scripture, whether it's history, sentences, or if you're in something like classical conversations, you might memorize more than that. So this kind of gives you what you need. You write it down for them to memorize. And then independent reading list. This is great. So own, by, or library, you can check off or circle O, B, or L, and then the author, book. Now you can do this in advance to say, okay, what are some books that my children need to read? What do they want to read for independent reading? So this isn't family read aloud. This is independent. Just a distinction there. Okay, section 2. Okay, so now I see. So this is great because it gives you the same thing for different kids. So if you have, wow, it gives you up to 5 kids. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you can keep track of. That's awesome. And I think that's honestly the average. So that's great. That's awesome. All right, now going to move to July. So looking at the month, okay? So opening July overview, similar to the well-ordered day. I see my top 3 goals for July. My verse or quote for July, our character focus for July, brain dump, to-do list, purchase list. And again, this is meant to be like homeschool, school schedule, but you can also use it for personal, right? So July, month of July, and then the notes and the next month down here, which is great. June 29th to July 5th. So I like how they start at the week, not just at the first day of the month. That's great. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it gives you a check. So you can write the subjects here. That's usually what I do. I'll write a subject here and then write like what they're learning in each one. I'll usually mark it like for each kid, or you can write the kids and what they're, each of your kids' names if you have multiple, and then you can do it like that. And then again, same thing here. Saturday and Sunday are shorter. It's supposed to be more, less focus days, I guess. I don't know if anybody else does school on Saturdays and Sundays in full like this, but that's that. So then it goes through a couple of weeks of the month, and then it gets to the end for reflection questions. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how did things go for your homeschool in July? You can rate that. Why? Reflective. List 3 homeschool successes you had in July. 1, 2, 3. List 3 you'd like to improve in August. Something I'm thankful for, something memorable. This was also in the well-ordered day, so I like that. And then this is personal habit tracker. That's nice to have. Whatever habits you might be forming, building, and you can do that even for you or your kids. That's pretty cool to have. And there's 3 different ones there for 3 different habits, or if it's for 3 different kids, whatever you have there. And then this last page is notes, and then it moves on to the next. Now I'm curious if we go to the end of June of the next year, I think it's just going to be the same notes and reflections. Yep. So that's pretty much it. I think I'm really excited about this. It seems to have a lot of everything that I have been looking for. It's very organized, yet also pretty, not including too much. It doesn't feel too cumbersome or heavy. The other planner I've tried that was this big had like too many pockets, and then it was actually like a good solid 2 inches. So I'm happy that this is smaller and that it also has sections for each kid. So I'm really happy with that. I hope this was helpful.